And welcome to Managing Day to Day with Christina Laster. But we are not Christina Laster. I am Coach Robinson, and this is
Natasha Meji Madry.
oh my goodness. We are so here with you with the National Parents Union. And we're just gonna go live and just give it to our parents nationwide. So how you been doing today?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm tired.
Yes, I agree. What you been up to? Like, you had a lot of stuff going on or what?
So tired doesn't even begin to tell you how I feel. It's more like on the level of exhausting, like exhausted. I don't know, on empty. I think when I get coffee, it's decaf. I don't know what is going on.
Right. Right. And the crazy thing is, like, when we drink these caffeinated drinks, we go all the way up high and then we just crash. And so that's really, what we're going to talk about today is how to, decompress, how to, tap into with our students and our kids at home. Most everybody got the word that we're going to be online again. And so how do you tap into your child's mental state? How? If we are overwhelmed and we're, looking to coffee, we're looking to things to kind of pacify us while we're going day to day, we want to take a look. We talked about in previous shows with myself and Christina, and even with you, we talked about whatever we put in our bodies is exactly what's going to go out. So if we're putting in all this coffee and all this sugary drinks and all this, foods that contain a lot of fats and stuff, at some point we're going to crash. And, right now I am going bananas with my younger sons. I have 6 children, and my girls, they're older, they're adults now. And now my sons, I know they're stressed. Their anxiety is high. I'm starting to get the hair. I don't know if you're starting to see this more with your kids. They're playing with their hair. They're really anxious. So have you noticed that with your own kids?
Oh, absolutely. Especially it depends on the age. So my 17-year-old basically hides in his room and he only comes out to eat. And so when I try to talk to him, he's like, "Oh, leave me alone." The only thing he really is concerned about is like what's for dinner, lunch, or whatever, like food. He's not like he's really disconnecting from the world. So it's concerning.
Absolutely. And I think that, my husband and myself, we purchased a pool. It's ginormous.
Really?
Yes,
Oh, you should show us because you have an amazing yard.
yes. And I still have the rest of that yard is still there. It's a 31 feet by 15 feet, and it's 5 feet deep.
Oh,
And
no.
so it's really a nice size. And like my boys, we put it up, we got the chlorine going, and I'm just like, they're going to be in it all day, every day. No, I literally had to take phones and tell them, you have to go outside, because they're cranky, they're fighting, they're just, arguing, and they're nitpicking. And so I'm noticing that their social skills are starting to regress. And I'm going like, oh my goodness, my 12-year-old is starting to act like his brother, 9-year-old. And my 9-year-old is taking a more leadership role as the younger brother. So then there's a disconnect between their relationship. And then my other 2 kids that are home, my older 20, she's still home, and my older son, who's started acting like the younger one, they're like, he's your favorite. I'm going like, no, he just does what I'm asking him to do, because I mean, he knows mama don't play, but he's starting to really develop faster than his brother. And it's concerning to me. So I said, go outside, get in the pool. So that's number one, how we want to tap into our kids' mental state. You want to kind of talk to your kids, number one, to see where they're at, and notice if these phones, Fortnite, I don't want to, I'm not plugging Fortnite, but that's what's really big right now, because they're having a lot of campaigns on Fortnite. They also had a Black Lives Matter campaign on Fortnite. So they were really tapping into the kids' imagination with all their stuff that they're doing. And I had to tell my boys, go outside. So I checked on them and I said, the digital they got to take a digitalocation, away from it. And so now they're in the pool. They're in the pool now. It's about 90 degrees here and it's 11. So that's what I did, you know.
I
So
love that. I don't have, but what do you do if you don't have a pool? Because I need a pool. I don't have a pool. I don't want to maintain a pool. I don't want to get a pool. That is not happening.
right. And right now, because we're on social distancing, and I know for our governor, he shut down our indoor activities and stuff that was kind of opened up, and the gyms are shut down again. So those pools are closed. But you can always go outside. If you live in an apartment, you have a complex, speak with management and see if you can kind of cone off or block off a portion of the area and make it a family affair. Like if you have other families that have younger kids, make stations where your kids will be in a station, their kids will be in a station, and just wet the kids up and have interactive songs. YouTube has plenty of songs out there. So if you don't have a pool, you can have like a water party and you social distance per family. If you do have a house, you can always get the sprinklers. You know, the one that, you know, the water would go like this.
Yeah, the old school ones. They still got them.
Yeah, Home Depot, I so was going to buy one. And I said, you know, I'm going to just go ahead and invest in a nice pool. We went to a pool company to get it, and it's a really, really nice pool. It's super dope. But if you don't have the means to do that, I mean, I kind of, you know, probably be paying for this for the rest of the year. But we did that because it gets really hot out here, and being in the house, my kids are starting to get stir crazy. I can tell by the shades of their skin tone. They're very light. And being African American, I mean, like, we can array, you know, but in my younger son is darker, and I'm going like, gosh, he's so light. Let's go outside and get some vitamin D so we can help fight off this COVID.
Yes, that's what's up. I agree. That's awesome. And Fortnite, I absolutely hate that game. And I keep making these empty threats to my son where I'm like, I'm turning off the Wi-Fi. You're not gonna play that anymore. And he knows that I'm not gonna do it. So it's like, why do I feel like I might as well talk to the wall?
And you know, it's what my daughter told me today. She said, Mom, you can lock the app. You can lock the app on the computer. And so, you know, that's number two. If you notice that your kids are doing things in excessiveness where it's starting to affect their mental state and even their personality, not just mentally, it's just, you know, their core of who they are. If you start noticing things, you know, you want to make sure that you're, you know, tracking it. We talked about tracking our physical activity. I am a tracker about everything. So I track my kids' physical activity, as well as I'll start tracking their mental state, or even if I noticed when we were in the classroom, I started to notice the teacher was always calling me. I made my sons a behavioral sheet myself, so then I can get an understanding so that it wasn't forced upon them. So I would highly suggest that first you check in with your kids. That's number one. Number two, assess and then give, you assess the situation, and then you give a prognosis, and then you give a solution. So my solution was turn off everything, and I started videotaping them when they have temper tantrums. I'm like, you're 12 and 9. You are like falling down on the ground. I'm going to videotape so your dad can see. So when he started to see, he was like, oh, you're really not crazy, wife. Like, I'm sorry. And he said, let's read it.
Love it. You recorded it. That's amazing.
Because, like,
yes.
So the days start blending with us being at home, and I'm still waiting on what my district is going to require of myself, because I'm going to be virtual PE. Don't know what that's going to look like. So I have a kind of outline and framework on what I want to do, but I'll take the guidance from them before I start like really stressing, videotaping myself. I got all this COVID weight. My kids cannot see my COVID weight. They're gonna be like, Coach, what happened?
Oh, I know. I'm starting to see a double chin.
Yeah, they're like, Coach. So, you know, I'll give you tips. So sidebar parents, when you're on Zoom, you want to do Kim Kardashian. Raise your neck. As you raise your neck, you breathe it in so your neck is real tight. And when you're ready to talk, you kind of let the breath out and you thin. And you got to find your good side. See, now my face looks slender. If I look forward, oh, wow. So back to managing day to day. So as I said, I text my husband and I was like, look, so this is the response. He says to the boys, no pool, no games, no phone until you are done doing what you were told to do at 6 a.m.
6 a.m.
Yeah, because my kids, they sneak, like we talked about earlier, that when you close the doors and you're trying to get a moment, parents, and then like you're getting a moment and you're still worried that if you close your door, your kids are going bananas and it's Beirut when you come downstairs or when you come out your room. For me, when I go downstairs. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what is going, it's 6. I heard somebody's feet at 5. So I was like, hey boys, and we don't fix cracks in our house so I can hear what's going on. And so I'm going like, ugh. I go in the room, it's stuff all everywhere. It's like Fortnite room. You know what Fortnite room is. It's like you're not supposed to eat in your room, but you have cups, plates. They have braces. Why do you have candy?
Oh man.
So we have to like revamp and like get back to the basics. I start recording. They have Google Duo on the phones, right? Under Google.
Oh, I've never
send a message. You go to Google Duo and you can send a message to the person. It's fabulous. You can literally, like Google Duo, it's right there.
Okay.
And you can send them, you don't have to call, you don't have to do nothing. They can just videotape it and see.
Real, I love that.
Yeah.
I'm looking that up when we're done.
So I just started because I can't, every day cannot be, I got to plan the day out. I have to plan the food because they're starting to eat a little bit more. My grocery bill's out of sky, roof off, whatever, tongue-tied Tuesday, right? So I'm planning all these activities. I'm not getting a really good response to my planning. They won't eat my food that I cook because now they're stuck on preservatives and their sugary palate has been just, it's just overwhelming. So I'm like, I need help. My husband works away from the home, so I need help. I need help. And like coming to your significant, you sound like a nagger. So let's put on the calm voice and videotape. And so I assess the situation. He's in agreement. So now I won't get the, secret text to the other parent and say, oh, she's over here killing us. Well, let me just put it, we're not killing the kids, but she's being so mean.
Oh, they're so dramatic, the kids.
Like,
come on.
And then, the other parent is always feeding into the child, but it's crazy. You go to school and they don't listen to what the kids are telling you is going on with them. So I'm like, double standard world, double standard. But yeah, so get in the pool. That's where we're at now. You did everything you're supposed to do. We assess it's too much social media. And my sons can't have a TikTok. He wants one so bad.
Why? Have you tried TikTok?
It's just when you know your child, I'm very in tune. My youngest daughter, she was so into social media that it made them go into fantasy world. And as children, you want them to develop and have fantasy play and imagination play. But when it gets to a point that, they're walking around the house.
Oh my God.
It's like maybe I'm overreacting, but we really got to watch our kids' social interaction, because can you imagine when the teachers go back to school and on Zoom, all you're going to see is.
Oh my God, you cracked me up. You were so funny. Okay. So tell me, I know you said you're not sure like what the district is going to look like when you return, but what do you think ideally would a gym class virtually be? Like, and how will that change with the climate? Because I'm sure it's going to be different. Like when it rains outside, like what if kids don't have space to do like a PE, but we want to make sure kids are like still being active. Like this is going to be, it's like, to me, it's a nightmare. Like, but I still think that it's important, right? Because we don't want to end up with a bunch of fat kids, right? Because they're just sitting in front of a computer all day.
Well, right? I'll tell you, there's a charter school, College Ready. It's Alliance College Ready. Oh my goodness. I love, love, love working at that district because they were totally technology based and every child had an iPad. So what we did in class, because we didn't really have the facilities, we only had like a basketball court and there were like 100 kids on the court. I would give activities like learn how to salsa dance. So you would use the platform. At the time I was using Blend Space, and you would make their lessons where they can swipe through and, on their own, move at their own pace. And it was really good because special needs students, they could be front loaded with all the information before they have to turn their work in. So then you would work with a partner and videotape you performing the steps, maybe not your face, but maybe your feet. And then you were able to go back to the video and like assess yourself. And so it can be as easy as pre-recorded lessons that the teachers would have, and they'd put it up on their website or whatever, and the kids would be prompted to follow, the steps, follow whatever, and then perform the activity recorded and then upload it to their Google Classroom. Very simple. I learned that I was at College Ready, I believe in 14, 15. Oh, I learned so much at that school. It was technology based, paperless, no paper. For the majority of the classrooms, the teachers decided to go paperless. And I still been following those teachers, and I see how they do PE online where they're videotaping. They learn a step, and because, we still have standards. And for each state, we still have state standards. And then we also have the NASP standards, the National Standards for Physical Education. And you don't, because of this COVID situation, we don't want to get too far, because when we have to come back, we're still going to have to resume state testing. We're still going to have our mandated minutes. And to go too far away, in my opinion, is going to be hard. But we have to be very creative and use this technology to, for what it is. And I see how it should look. Getting the kids to be able to do it. It's going to be heavily district funded, extra computers, extra hotspots, and you're going to have to make sure that kids have the technology to be able to support their learning. That's the hardest part, is getting the kids the access. The easy part to me as an educator, we're the molder of their dreams. We have to use what we've been taught, especially PE teachers, because we normally don't have equipment. So we have to be, thinking on our toes. Inclement weather at some schools, all we do is watch workout videos and Just Dance online. Like, we use that. And so even videotaping themselves performing an activity and then just submitting it would suffice, in my opinion. But, I'm not a decision maker. I'm just, I do as I'm told. And then I tweak it how you can really be successful for my students, because my students come from all walks of life. And you also have to be creative and tapping into what they already know, their cultural needs, and you get them excited by using, for the month. This month, what is this? July? What month is this?
It's July. It'll be August next week.
So you always Google to see what month this is, and then you run with it. And then you really focus your classroom around that, because the kids are going to zone out. Especially, well, I'm crazy. My kids love me. My students, hey, students, I love you.
Because you have this energy about you that's like, inspiring, but not all teachers bring that. Like, what if you're just sitting there with a teacher that's like very stiff and like, I don't know. Like, for me, my kids don't even like, when they're on the Zoom meetings, they don't like to turn the cameras on. So, and then if the teacher's there talking to a bunch of pictures, it's different, right? So, I don't know. It's going to be really challenging, I think. I think the main important thing is that kids are safe, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, that's my main thing. I want my kids to be safe, but I also want them to learn.
Right.
And exercise and do something besides Fortnite, So.
Well, you know what, too? Another thing that parents can do, that was my number 3, is you want to practice. Practice. I tell my kids all the time, they're like, every time I do the trash can with the shot, they're like, Kobe. They're like, LeBron. I'm like, Michael J. Whatever. But you practice. So Zoom is free. So you can stay on Zoom all day with just you and your kids. And I know that sounds crazy, but you want, especially for those students that are shy. My one son, he's so shy, but I'm like, you would be on Fortnite all night.
That's true.
So just get on a Zoom and you start allowing them to do the silly things. I know, hey, Miss Hammond in Lake Elsinore, I love her. She was so supportive. She told my son's class, go ahead and act silly. I'll give you 5 minutes to act silly. That's exactly what I do in my PE class when I work with noodles. You can slap each other below the waist, do whatever you want to do as long as it's safe. And then when I blow the whistle, you know it's time to get busy, because you want the kids to get used to this type of format. We may be here for a while. So for your kids that are shy, get on a Zoom, have a family night, call up a couple of your family members and have a family fun night. And I even played Kahoot with my kids. Kahoot, they have a free trial for 7 days if you want to get the most expensive one, but they have a free interactive game that teachers have been using. I've been using Kahoot since I learned it at College Ready Alliance, Corey Hunter Middle School.
Nice.
Kahoot was really dope. It was dope because it's fun, it's a game, and they were learning content. So I would suggest, you know, number one, we talked about talking to your kids. Number two, we were talking about assessing, giving a prognosis, and then giving a solution. Number three is practice, practice, practice. If you find out that something's going on and you need to reteach your kids how to mainstream or how to act right, or however you want to call it, because I don't want to be offensive with my words, but for my kids, I never want them to stop knowing how to school. So if they're like, Mom, I hate it. So I'll find the most craziest things to put on, like those YouTube videos, and then go ahead and turn on the Zoom and let them practice.
I love that idea. What a great idea.
And then record it, go back, look at it and say, how did you feel? And then really have a conversation. And I know sometimes our older kids are so disconnected that it's like, Mom, this is stupid. Well, then you start talking about in the workforce, you know, start talking about what if you were at a big company and it was your job, and how will you get the people, you know, then you start bringing in other things. And then virtually, right now with the organization that I'm with, our African American Parent Advisory Council, we put on events, and one event is the Black College Tour. Well, it's going to be online, virtual.
Really?
Yes.
That's amazing. So I have a senior, so definitely hit me, you know, once you have that information, share that, because I definitely want him to like I'm really worried about his senior year and him picking colleges and the whole thing. But so that's amazing. What a great idea. And to be able to share that would be great.
So practice, practice, practice. And, you know, as parents, I want you all to also know that it's okay that you're not okay. If you need a moment to yourself, take some time. You know, I had so much fun prior to the show starting. We were on here, we were acting crazy, having that conversation, because you're going to need that stimulus, you know, or that stimuli by an adult. You know, I'm up to here with testosterone in voice. So to be able to tap into some of those resources that that are out there, if you ever need anything from me, catch me at my Facebook page at Akle Robinson, AKALE Robinson. That's my Facebook, and I have a lot of resources for the council that I'm a part of. And just go out there and find it, you know, parents, and don't be afraid to keep coming back here to National Parents Union. They have so many other shows that are out here available for you. You can go look at past shows, and, you know, it's okay. It is okay. You know?
Okay, not to be okay. I love that. Thank you. That's so true. It's so hard, and it's so nice to be able to like bounce ideas off other parents. Like that's just amazing. I just feel like I have this whole network of parents, like even though we're in different states, it doesn't matter. Like we can still relate because we're still parents, right? So it's amazing. I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah, awesome. And just as as we wrap up, I know we're a little over our time. I just wanted to also say that, you know, go out and research. So for example, my son has ADHD. I went out and kind of researched, and you don't want to really subscribe to a whole lot of different things, but if you really want to tackle some of these issues, especially my son's defiance and with his diagnosis, I know that's a challenge for him, and I know that going into the classroom next year, it's going to be a challenge to get him to, but I really want to do what I can as a parent, a teacher parent at least, to tap into those resources so that I can be ready for those students coming back to my virtual classroom and support as well as I can. So parents, tap into those resources, start reading up, take a moment, take a social media vacation away from social media. If you have to go to Los bedroom.
You are so funny. You should do a comedian. You should be, oh man, you be cracking me up.
I told you, Natasha, I go to the mattress ball every night. Every night is the mattress ball, and I be ready.
I love it. You're awesome.
Lastly, for Tim, we're going to make a funny face just for you. And this is my mattress ball face. Goodbye, National Parents Union. We love you. Funny face.
Bye, everyone.